Hello everyone, welcome back to another video in the channel Child More. Please be sure to comment, like, and subscribe to the channel Child More. Please remember to keep your comment decent, not offensive. Let's get into the video, shall we? There is the war with Israel, the United States going further into Iran. Well, this war is supposed to be at least a week and a few days. Alright, so I don't think that this is supposed to be like that very long. Alright, and you gotta remember too that the United States had the largest military in the world, so I would not be concerned about, this is going to last like for way too long. Okay, because I have to say, for however, for however long this is actually going to go on, I have to say that really, for a war to actually last for like a week and a few days, I've got to say that it's actually not that long of a war. Yeah, and just for the record, that isn't a long time. Like a very long war. It sounds like that Hamas, Iran, who paid Hamas to do the dirty work. I think Iran wants to do the job themselves. Since Hamas is no longer able to, doesn't want to, I think, do the work. I think Iran is kind of like just completely taken over, and now they want to just completely, I think they're the ones themselves getting their hands dirty. And just wanting to be, I think, now, if I am right on this, which I could be right that, Iran wants to be one of those terrorist countries out there that terrorize the Middle East. That's what I personally think. And yeah, I just have to say that, I think at this point, anything can be possible right now. I mean, the United States is actually doing a good job keeping on the effort and keeping the pressure on Iran that, hey, if you want to terrorize one of the United States allies, you're going to have to go through the United States, whether you might realize or not. And we have the largest military in the world. Don't think that you'll be able to, get off scot-free from this. Alright? Because, it's, it's like you can't, it's like, there are, it's like, you can't really, it's like, you know, the United States wants to protect their allies. All right? And the United States doesn't even like it. When there is a country out there in this world that obviously, you know, there are countries out there that just, when they want to be a big threat to other countries out there, the United States doesn't even like it. And, yeah, the United States doesn't like terrorism out there in the real world. We obviously want to make sure that the world is like a safe place to live in. Alright? That's what the United States goal is. Alright. Yes, terrorism is a terrible thing. Alright? Hate has no home here. It's been said plenty of times since the Black Lives Matter protest. Alright? The United States doesn't like terrorism. And hate has no home here. Terrorism has no home here. If I could add that. Alright? And, it's just, it's just very terrible. Terrorism is a terrible thing, and it always will be. Yeah. It'll always be a terrible thing. Alright? And nobody will be able to change that. Okay? Terrorism has always been terrible. It always will. Yeah. And can you guess why it would be very, very terrible? Well, it's terrible because, well, it's always been. It's always been. That's the way that it's always been. It always will be like that. Okay. I am just very, very disgusted by this. And I just, I'm just sick of this, It's like, YouTubers don't ever get a break from talking about this type of stuff because, it's like, whatever is reported on the news, a lot of YouTubers are talking about this because, it's kind of what's on the news medias. They keep on talking about it. And, going to war with other countries just because you want to be a terrorist, that is totally wrong right there. It's totally evil. Yeah. And, you're going to figure that out. It's, that's just the reality of it. Okay? Yeah. People are going to find out one of these days that terrorism is only going to bring destruction. And it's going to tear people and families apart. It's just something that, it's always going to be a problem. Terrorism is, completely, it's completely, it's completely wrong. All right? And this is what Iran wants to be. Terrorism for the rest, well, in the Middle East, I have to say. Yeah. Iran is a really big threat here. It really is. And I don't know how much of a threat Iran really wants to be. But I have to say, they are really just, wanting to just terrorize, I think, the rest of the world. Alright, not just the Middle East. But a lot of the world. Alright. And you just can't really just let that stuff happen. And, and just sit like on the sidelines and then, just say that, well, so, Iran wants to be the top world, terrorist in the whole entire world, where Iran would be like the most feared, Kim Jong-un or, Emperor Putin? Like, is that what the people want? Because if that's the truth right there, then I'm just going to say, people should be like scared to death that, we probably be having to be like a wannabe terrorist who's like Emperor Palpatine, who would absolutely just take control of the whole entire world and make the world like the top most evil planet in the solar system, where there would be an emperor who would govern the whole entire world, and it's like the whole entire world has to like worship and bow down to one emperor. I don't think that's going to actually happen like that. Yep, I don't think that it would happen like that. Alright, yeah. And I certainly don't think that this is the type of path that we want to head down. Alright, I mean, our minds can actually, see, almost, into the future. Like, what would happen if Iran was, really successful in trying to destroy the Middle East? Alright, and what if they just, what if they just, really just, destroyed not just the Middle East, but they could expand all the way from the Middle East, leave their allies, like Russia and North Korea, expand, and then, you'd have the terrorist powers, which would be Russia, Iran, and North Korea. you'd have those as the terrorist powers, who would obviously be the real big problems in this world. Would be like the only powers that they're only just, wanting to be war greedy. And, the only thing that they would do is they would want, world, like, they would be, just war hungry. They would be, it would be totally, I mean, well, just think of how much of a disaster this would be if the whole entire world was actually doomed. All right, and let's just think here for a minute. The worst for planet Earth would be here. There would be, terrorism from Iran, and probably the terrorist powers, which would be Russia, North Korea. All right, let's just think that, well, could you just imagine how much terrorism there'd be in this world? Oh, there'd be a lot of terrorism. I don't think the United States is going to want to tolerate this. All right. So, as a result of this, Iran is getting hit hard by the United States and Israel. All right, you mess with one country that is probably an ally to the United States. You mess with the United States themselves. And we have the most powerful military in the world. So, with that said, if you think you're so successful in trying to destroy the United States, don't forget that, we can hit twice as hard as much as any other country can. All right. So I would just be aware of that. I would just be aware. Because there's going to come a time. There's going to come a time that, as much as this war goes on, as much as the war keeps going on, the more that Iran or any of these other countries want to be like a threat and threaten other countries with terrorism. The United States is watching. They're keeping an eye on, who will strike, who's going to bring terrorism, and who is going to bring doom to the whole entire world, or who plans on doing that. And yeah, you know what, it's actually, I don't think that the United States or any other country is going to tolerate this. All right, terrorism is very, very scary. It's very, very scary indeed. Yeah, I just cannot imagine how much of this destruction and how much chaos that people are wanting to cause for a lot of people. Yeah. Planet Earth is just, well, I just wish that we wouldn't have to be constantly dealing with it every time. I certainly find it, annoying that, this is what we have to go through with just about, every single stinking time. Especially when we hear, like, a lot of these stories that just, they come on the news and they're always talking about the bad stuff that's happening in this world and that stuff. And, it becomes like major news for like maybe a few weeks or so until it doesn't become like real top stories anymore. And then, one of those weeks that come around, some of these major stories don't become like a major story anymore. Basically, that this crisis is all past. Alright, let's say for example, Israel being or Iran just being disabled of all their nuclear weapons. Alright? And you would think that, okay, so we get a break from these kind of things after a while. Okay. It probably isn't major stories anymore. But does it actually mean that these type of stories could actually end up being big stories to, like, talk about, like, over and over again? You think that they could actually be, like, stories that, they might have to be, talked about, and, America will have to, like, discuss again? Yeah. Stories that capture America's attention. Yes. Of course they're gonna have to be, talked about again. Alright. Yeah. And you know what? When those stories have to be talked about again, I mean, it's gonna be annoying. It's gonna be annoying. But, I've gotta say, the world is just an evil place. There's nothing good in this world. There's always chaos, destruction, terrorism, bloodshed, anything that you could possibly think of that would actually make this world a terrible place. Alright. And yeah, I get sick and tired of these wars. Alright, I hope that one day that this actually ends. I hope that, people will actually wake up and realize that, hey, we can't have this terrorism out there in the Middle East happening, which would actually mark the start of something like Iran will actually want to become, expanding its terrorist powers to the Middle East and basically just build a big enough empire where North Korea, Russia, um, Iran's allies, they would actually just just you know, where they would actually like just terrorize the rest of the world. Right? It's upsetting. And it's stupid. It's stupid. It's just, you know, just that stupid that YouTubers like me, optimists, and sometimes other YouTubers out there that actually have to talk about this whole thing happening in the whole entire world, especially stuff that happens here in the United States. Which, by the way, there was 2 people that were actually charged with terrorism here, and you would not imagine what was actually reported was these people, these 2 men who were charged with terrorism, they were, you wouldn't believe what one of the things was. Explosives. Yeah. Not like not like regular grenades. It looks like they were explosives that had like duct tape around them. Probably detonators that probably had duct tape around it. It's hard to say what they looked like. I can't describe them. But yeah, they looked like they looked like and almost appeared to not look like bombs, but like you can't be fooled by don't let the duct tape or the plastic wrap or whatever was on there fool you. It was obviously meant to look like a fake like a fake detonator, which obviously, if you're doing that, you're obviously, you're obviously just, you're obviously making, well, I gotta say that you're really just, really, man, I have to say that this is just, hey, I can just tell you that, you're just going to have it, you're just going to have it bad. That's all I can say. I am just, I'm pretty disgusted with what happens here in this world. I mean, there's a lot of stuff going on in this world. I wish it would actually come to an end at some point. I mean, sometimes, you just, I don't know. I'm just tired of it, You know, I'm tired of all this confusion. I'm all tired of this war. I'm tired of this fighting, that stuff. I'm sure that all the Americans are just, just really, really sick of this. Yeah. I just don't know why. But, you know, all this stuff that you hear on the news, I can say it's all stupid. And, you know, people are just, you know, I don't know. I guess people are not gonna just figure out that, you know, someday we're probably gonna have a much, worse time than what we actually are in right now. Anyway, that is going to do that for the rest of the video. If you like what was said here, make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel to charge more. Again, please remember to keep your comments decent and not offensive. And, well, I guess we'll have to wait for the worst time to actually come. And to either the United States or the whole entire world. Here, I just love to see the day that would actually happen. But, again, I hope that this actually doesn't have to come to that. I hope that, you know, the worst isn't yet to come. But, I mean, again, you can't pretend like nothing worse than this is going to happen. Because again, I would actually say this again, and I mean it. Anything is possible. Alright? Anyway, that's gonna do it for this video.